Hello, Justin the Ozarks Gardener here, back with another garden update. It's been a little while since I did my last one, so I wanted to show off my new toy. Right here I've got a Lifetime brand dual composting bin that I just got because I have a compost pile back here that isn't exactly composting very well. I think part of that is due to my lack of brown materials. Your compost is supposed to have greens and browns, meaning living stuff like grass clippings and food scraps and all that, and then brown materials like paper, dry dead leaves, wood shavings, some stuff like that. So greens and browns, and I don't think I have quite enough browns in here because it's not composting, it's not getting hot, it's not cooking, there's not a lot of microbial or activity going on in there. So first of all, I want to adjust that to get it cooking like proper compost is supposed to. But also, what I've discovered is that coming out here with the pitchfork and turning my compost pile is a real pain in the back. You know, literally in my back. It kind of sucks with the pitchfork. Right here next to the compost, I've got my most recent pile of grass clippings that I'm going to incorporate into this when I load up the compost tumbler. And I just finished assembling this compost tumbler just now. I've got it on Amazon. I shop online quite a bit. So I wanted to show that off. And the reason that you want to get a dual compost tumbler, or if you just get a single, you can buy two of them. This brand Lifetime also makes a single compost tumbler that has an 80-gallon capacity. This is two 50-gallon capacity. And the point of that, why you want to have two, is that at some point you're gonna fill one up and you're gonna stop adding things to it. You're not gonna add any more stuff to it, and you're gonna let it do its thing. You're gonna let it compost. You're gonna come out and you're gonna turn it every day. I also like this. It seemed to be pretty easy to turn. They got little handles kind of going right here, and you just give it a spin. It's real easy right now because it doesn't have anything in it. But so you're gonna fill one up, and you're going to stop adding to it, and you're going to let that compost. You're going to let that do its thing. You're going to let everything break down and let the microbes do their job. And while that one is cooking, which is what this little piece is supposed to say, stop, red light, don't add anything more. While that one is cooking, you're then going to move over to the next one and start filling it up with your yard waste and kitchen scraps and all that kind of stuff. And then by the time this one is done cooking, or by the time you have this one filled up, theoretically, this one should be done cooking, hopefully. I've got it here against the east side of my house, where it should get quite a bit of morning sun up to the midday, and then as you can see right now it's shaded because it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting some good compost, homemade compost, put into my garden. And one of the reasons for that is this. I've got this crazy overgrowth going on. If you see here, I have some stuff going to seed here, over here, and over here. And what this is I guess I've been a bit lazy and I wasn't cropping things as well as I should have. But this is actually a turnip that's going to seed, and over here is a radish. If you can look at the base of this, I don't know, yeah, I mean, who would have thought a radish would get that? In fact, I'll just pull it out right now so we can see what this looks like. It's kind of purple. At least when I planted this, it was a radish seed. But I mean, there's what happens when you let a radish go too long. It grows a big giant stalk and it starts going to seed and flowering. And so I have a farmer. You all should get your own farmer as well. No, it's a guy who a farmer down at the local farmers market, who the restaurant hotel that I work in, also we buy some things from him. And so I asked him, I said, hey, I've got these radishes and turnips and things that are growing a lot of big leaves, a lot of big greens, which I really like because I like to eat these radish or these turnip greens, and I like to juice them, put them in my juicer. They're great, full of nutrition. But they're putting on a lot of great leaves, but the roots don't seem to be growing. There's not a lot of, it's not putting on the bulb at the bottom, the turnip. It's not growing, it doesn't seem to be growing very much of a turnip. And he said that was from too much nitrogen in the soil. And what that does is it encourages foliar growth, leaves and fruit and stuff like that, on plants that grow, say tomatoes or something like that. But things that grow root vegetables like turnips and radishes and beets and things, it doesn't help grow the root very much. So I said, well, what do I do about that? And he said, you add more carbon to your soil to balance out the nitrogen. And I said, well, how do I do that? He said, add compost. And that's where that comes in. So as I go through here and harvest things, because I've got a lot of stuff in here that is ready to go. I've got spinach here that's about to start putting on seed, bolting. I got a lot of turnip greens here that I'm going to pull and start juicing them. And then I've got a lot of kale over here that's actually doing really well. I'll start eating that with beans or juicing it. And I've got Swiss chard over here, and you can see I've got some bug stuff going on. Some bugs they be eating my plants, but this Swiss chard's getting real big, which is kind of nice. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna be taking care of that, and what I'll do with this is I'll pluck off all the leaves, I'll juice them, and then the rest of the plant that like that huge giant stalk there, I'll put it into my composter and it'll become soil again. So let me show you what else I've got going on here. Down here got a few planters. It's kind of hard to see, but there's lots of little green guys coming up there. I planted oregano in this guy. I planted parsley over here, and at this point it's kind of hard to tell whether, I guess that's parsley. That looks like parsley, that little leaf it's putting on there. Some of this stuff it's hard to tell. That's a weed. What's a weed and what's the parsley? Because I have a lot of dandelions around here and they're blowing around their seeds. This is a container of cilantro that I planted, and I appear to be getting pretty good growth out of that. I've heard cilantro is pretty much a no-brainer. It just does its thing. Over here I planted some potatoes. These were just potatoes that I had in the kitchen that started putting on eyes, so I planted them. And they're growing, and as they grow, the way that you do this is they grow up and you fill it up with soil, and then they grow up some more. Like, I started basically with almost an empty container, just maybe 6 inches of soil on the bottom, and then I put the potatoes in, covered them up, then they grow up out of the soil, and soon I'll fill these up to about here again, just leave a few leaves poking out the top, and then once this is just full up to the rim here, it'll keep growing, and then hopefully that whole bucket fills up with potatoes. Got some peas over here that they're growing. They're climbing up this trellis here. I've got some spinaches and the carrots and all this same stuff. My beans have really started taking off, and my battery is going to die soon, so I'll finish this up. Tomatoes are starting to grow, get a little bigger. Over here, same with tomatoes. Swiss chard that I started later on, kind of little radishes. These are probably ready to pick. I've also got some yellow squash and some zucchini that's coming on there. And real quick over here, more turnip greens. Lots and lots of turnip greens. So gotta be picking those. Lettuces, it's gonna be starting getting too hot for lettuces soon, so I'll plant something else there. Bunch of beets over here that are starting to do their thing. And I've planted some cucumbers in here, which are starting to come up, you can see there. And peas over here. And tomatoes there, starting to get a little bigger. It's been raining quite a bit, but it's nice and sunny right now, so that's good. It's keeping the soil moist. So that's it. That's it for today. Showing off my new toy there, the dual compost tumbler, and showing you this overgrowth I've got in the garden, which I'll start plucking things through and start transplanting my peppers and okra and things out here soon, because I think it's warm enough. I don't think it's going to get cold again. So pretty happy with how things are turning out. Stay tuned in for updates, and this is Justin, the Ozarks Gardener, signing off.